It's time to talk Hillcrest basketball because something has got to change. And we back. Welcome back to the second season of the Get Buckets podcast, powered by Harmonic Basketball. I'm your host, Musa Marathi. Today, I'm going to just be talking about Hillcrest basketball. So far in this season, they are 5-15, 0-4 in region. They're on a 6-game losing streak currently. Haven't won a game since 2023. And I also saw that they are ranked 33 out of 36 in 5A, according to Max Preps. And I'm not just coming on here to bash them, but it hasn't been too great of a season for them. And the main thing I've realized is they cannot finish games off. I mean, consistently losing by 1 to 5 points every game, which shows that they can compete with basically any team they play against. But lost to Woodmont by 1 a few weeks ago. Lost to Malden in double overtime. Lost to JLman, who really hasn't been playing too well. Lost them at home by 5. Lost to Boiling Springs, who they beat earlier in the season by 6, and allowed Landon Sprouse, who I know he's been doing pretty well lately, but he had 30 on them. So, it's just tough, man. And that they have to be able to finish games down the stretch in close games because they don't have the roster construction where they can just go out and kill teams. I mean, I think they knew that from the start, that they weren't just going to be out here blowing every team out that they play. So being able to finish late is huge. I mean, it is very tough. And, I know that there's a few things that I feel like is the problem. They're a very small team. The tallest guy on their team that gets significant playing times like 6'2", 6'3", Caden, who's their quote-unquote point guard, is basically their tallest guy on the court at all times. They're a very young team. Their better players all seem to be sophomores. I don't even know. I think they have 2 seniors that have significant playing time, being Jacob Bennon and Cam Pulley. But they're basically a centrally young team and led by young players. They don't have good ball movement. I mean, I've watched them a few times, and they force a lot of shots. I mean, when I talk about teams like Burns and Riverside, how they swing the ball and win against teams that they should probably lose to, this team is the opposite. They don't swing the ball. They look to get their shot, which I know a lot of younger players do that, but man, shot selection it seems off. It seems off a lot of the time, and they can't play extremely great defense. I mean, I watched some of the clips against JL at the end, and I know that they were playing man a lot early in the season. I was kind of just like, they're very small. So and I know they have energetic guards. So they try and rile up the other team with that. But they're playing man-to-man, and they seem to just be getting beat a lot, like just in man-to-man. So when they do go zone, which I think they were doing against JL and they had Caden up top, that's cool. But, I mean, who's guarding the paint? I mean, they had to foul people like Tez in the paint because no one can hang with him up when he's trying to get a layup. I almost feel like Caden should be, guy in the back. He's probably the best rim protector, even though he is, quote-unquote, the point guard for them. He is the best rim protector for them. I know it's easy for him to, be up top so then he can, maybe get into the point guards more, play defense up there, but he is the best rim protector for them. Last thing, they don't rebound the ball very well, and that also has to attribute to not just height, but also probably some effort. I mean, their best rebounders are, 6'2", 6'1", and, I don't want to put, too much pressure on Caden. I've heard that he's been doing really well lately. Had himself a 30-plus game against Woodmont a few weeks ago. Another great game against Woodmont where they lost late in the game. But this man, I know he can get it going on offense. It just seems a little interesting to me because he is the point guard for this team, but he's also the best scorer for this team. So he's having to look to get his own shot, but at the same time, as the point guard, you also have to get everyone else involved. So when he's, maybe shot the ball a few times in a row, it's like the first pass he makes, they're shooting it. And they're not looking to pass the ball again. So the ball movement is just off, really off. And then, he takes so much energy on offense. I think sometimes on defense, he may just be a little tired. Maybe can't get that rebound that they need near the end of a game. So I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but I mean, I just feel like maybe he's suited for more of a a shooting guard slash role. Because maybe if he didn't have the ball so much in his hands just to bring it up and get a bucket, his teammates might be able to, swing it a little bit more. Because the ball movement part is definitely a big thing that they have to get going. And then I would say right now on this team, I don't think there's any exact leader. And I know that they are a very young team, and I said they had seniors, but these seniors are more role players for them. Like, they're not like the guys that they had last year where they had Izzy, who really came in out of nowhere and just really just led the team well. They also had Chavis, who had been on varsity for a few years, Jeremiah. They don't have these guys anymore. And I think they're having a little bit of like a who are we type of year. Like, they don't exactly know yet. They got new guys. CJ was a transfer. Trey was a transfer. Houston was a transfer. So, like, all the guys that get meaningful minutes all are trying to buy into this system that they aren't accustomed to, which I think has been tough. And I think they can. I feel like they can get a win or two here in the second time around region. I mean, they have solid role players around guys like Caden. Something needs to fix, and I'm not exactly sure what they can do. I haven't been able to watch them, but they're obviously competing with these teams. Like I said, they've lost in double overtime last week. They lost by 1, so they're getting to the finish line. They just got to get the dub, man. And I think they still have a chance on making playoffs. Man, that was just their first win in region, and maybe that sparked something in them. But I mean, Hillcrest can get it though. Hillcrest can get it. Like I said, they have solid players besides just Caden. They have CJ Durham, who can play defense and finish at the rim. Cam Pulley, he can score, and he can shoot the ball pretty well. Trey Clint-Scales can shoot the ball. Houston Long can space the floor out. Jacob Bennett, another energy guy for them. And, I think the whole entire season they've kind of been struggling to see what their role is. But like I said, 4 games left in region. Looking forward to see how they finish off, because I know their players don't want to go 0-8. I mean, nobody wants to go 0-8 in region. But I had to get on here, man, just to hopefully just open up their eyes as they enter the second part of the region, because they got to do something. They got to do something in order to compete out here, because it hasn't looked too great over the last few weeks. But that's all I really wanted to come on here, man. Best of luck to Hillcrest the rest of the way, though. And I definitely think they can be a solid team in the future if everyone stays, if everyone buys into the system. But just like a few years ago, they were not very good, and then last year they had a good season. So maybe it's just one of those transition periods where they can get better in time.
Another thing I just wanted to add in is I'm not exactly sure if this team has a set culture. And I've seen them play really well at times. Like, I've seen them play well even against Malden. I mean, they made it all the way to double overtime. But it's almost just like a consistency thing. Like, they'll have games where they absolutely cooked BHP in late December, but then it seemed like they weren't playing with that type of energy when they played JL Man the day before. And I know it's region, so they're really trying to, save their season, it seems like. But I just need to see a set culture. And like I said 2 years ago, I know they weren't very good. And then last year, it seemed like they had a culture in place. Like, this is a new year. We're not doing what we did the year before. But I almost feel like that didn't transition into this year. And I know they lost a lot of the players they had last year. But I just thought I'd add this in, man. Hopefully they can get some winning culture going into next year. Because, if a lot of these guys do come back, they're going to have that winning experience in order to help their team succeed next year.